All right. So today I'd like to begin with a discussion on karma and rebirth based on a question that Heidi asked, and the ability to recall past lives and also karmic seeds. So Heidi was trying to make a connection whether all the karmic, I forgot the question total in its entirety, but I will try to phrase it the way I understood it semantically, that karmic seeds, do all karmic seeds come to the next life, or can we recall all the past lives, whatever? I mean, in my response, I said we can see the details of past lives, not every detail, even within this lifetime, if we want to look at every detail. For me, it would take 32 years to go through every single detail, which is not how our past life recollection works. It's only clear details like where you have been, what you did, and what your name was, the most significant things that was recorded in your psycho, in your mind, is what you will be visiting. So only the details. Karmic seeds, not everything is transformed to the present birth, and there is some karma that doesn't even have a result in the present life because of the conditions that you live in. Some karma has immediate results. Some get what's the word, like zero effect. It doesn't have it. It's like a karma that is automatically erased before it gives any result. Karma is actually not the work you do; it's the psychological impulse that we spend. We spend time with. So intention is karma, said the Buddha. With any thought, any impulsive thought, you can feel it across your body. So mentality and materiality, these two things work together to produce the experience for you. So that's that comes off of my mind for that response. I wish I brought the email printed, but I brought something else about karma and rebirth that I will read. Karma and karma results are fundamental concepts in Buddhism. The concepts explain how our intentional actions keep us tied to rebirth, whereas the Buddhist path, as exemplified in the Noble Eightfold Path, shows us the way out of this rebirth. Rebirth is a common belief in all Buddhist traditions. It says that birth and death in the six realms occur in successive cycles driven by ignorance, desire, and hatred. The cycle of rebirth is called samsara. It is beginningless and ever ongoing process. Liberation from samsara can be attained by following the Buddhist path. This path leads to vidya, meaning true knowledge, and the stilling of craving and aversion. So this path leads to stilling of craving and aversion. Hereby, the ongoing process of rebirth is stopped. The Buddha said, intention, I tell you monks, is karma or karma. Intending one does karma by way of body, speech, and mind or intellect. According to Peter Harvey, Peter Harvey is a Buddhist scholar. It is the psychological impulse behind an action that is karma, that which sets going a chain of causes culminating in karmic fruit. Actions then must be intentional if they are to generate karmic fruits. And according to Richard Gomrich, the Buddha defined karma as intention, whether the intention manifested itself in physical, vocal, or mental form. It was the intention alone which had a moral character, good, bad, or neutral. The focus of interest shifted from physical action involving people and objects in the real world to a psychological process. According to Gomrich, this was a great innovation which overturns Brahmanical caste-bound ethics. It is a rejection of caste-bound differences, giving the same possibility to reach liberation to all people, not just the Brahminins. Not by birth is one a Brahmin or an outcast, but by deeds, meaning karma. How this emphasis on intention was to be interpreted became a matter of debate in and between the various Buddhist schools. The result of karma is called fruit of action. Any given action may cause all sorts of results, but the karmic results are only those results which are consequences of both the moral quality of the action and of the intention behind the action. Good moral actions lead to wholesome rebirths, and bad moral actions lead to unwholesome rebirths. The main factor is how they contribute to the well-being of others in a positive or negative senses. Especially giving, according to Buddhist tradition, became an increasingly important source of positive karma. And I skip and I say, there's a subheading. This I printed from some parts in Wikipedia entry that somebody brought based on everybody's input on karma. I printed the part that resonated with my understanding, so I will read this subheading called Karma as a Complex Process, which says, the Buddha's teaching of karma is not strictly deterministic, but incorporated circumstantial factors, unlike that of the Jains, meaning Jainism. It is not a rigid and mechanical process, but a flexible, fluid, and dynamic process. And not all present conditions can be ascribed to karma. This is how I understand karma. Karma is flexible. Not everything that you experience now is karma. There is not set linear relationship between a particular action and its results. The karmic effect of a deed is not determined solely by the deed itself, but also by the nature of the person who commits the deed and by the circumstances in which it is committed. So your understanding about your own being can shape the result of karma. If you are an arahant, there's no karma produced by you. If you are in a different understanding that's also towards being a noble person, the effect of karma will be different for you. So your understanding, your wisdom affects how the karma affects you. And this says karma is also not the same as fate or predestination. Fate is something people believe, this is my fate, this is my predestination. This is not how karma works. Karmic results are not a judgment imposed by a god or other all-powered being, but rather the results of a natural process. Certain experiences in life are the results of previous actions, but our responses to those experiences are not predetermined, although they bear their own fruit in the future. Unjust behavior may lead to unfavorite circumstances which make it easier to commit more unjust behavior. But nevertheless, the freedom not to commit unjust behavior remains. The real importance of, in terms of liberation, the real importance of doctrine of karma and its fruits lies in the recognition of the urgency to put a stop to the whole process of samsara. The Achintita Sutta, meaning the sutra on unthinkables, warns that the result of karma is one of the four incomprehensible subjects, subjects that are beyond all conceptualization and cannot be understood with logical thought or reason. So Gombrich says that this sutra may have been a warning against the tendency, probably from the Buddha's day until now, to understand the doctrine of karma backwards, to explain unfavorable conditions in life when no other explanations are available. Gaining a better rebirth may have been and still is the central goal for many people. The adoption by laity of Buddhist beliefs and practices is seen as a good thing, which brings merit and good rebirth, but does not result in nirvana and liberation from samsara, the ultimate goal of the Buddha. In Anguttara Nikaya, the Buddha asserted that it is not possible to avoid experiencing the result of a karmic deed once it has been committed. In the Anguttara Nikaya, it is stated that karmic results are experienced either in this life, ditta dhammika, or in future lives, samparayika. The former may involve a readily observable connection between action and karmic consequence, such as when a thief is captured and tortured by the authorities. But the connection need not necessarily be that obvious, and in fact, usually is not observable. The Sanyutta Nikaya makes a basic distinction between past karma, Purana karma, which has already been incurred, and karma being created in the present, Nava karma. Therefore, in the present one, both creates new karma and encounters the result of past karma. Karma in the early canon is also threefold: mental action, bodily action, and vocal action. Mental, bodily, and vocal karma. So, it is our karma that we have discussed about karma. It's a complex subject. When the tsunami happened, somebody said, it's their karma. I said, it's not the Buddha's teaching. Karma is one thing. The Buddha said, nature. Dharmata is also a law that we have to experience. Seasons happen, there is plant because of seeds, these other dynamics. And karma is one of the 5 laws, LAW, laws in the universe, the Buddha said. He said the 5 laws, 5 niyamas, Uttu niyama, Kamma niyama, Dhamma niyama, Chitta niyama, Bija niyama. Uttu, Bija, Kamma, Dhamma, Chitta. So Uttu meaning seasons, Bija meaning seed and plant relationship. Mango seed gives a mango plant. Kamma is the law of karma. Dhamma is the nature. It's the nature of the mind. It's the nature of the nature. And it's the nature of the universe. And Chitta, it's also, there's a whole section about mind's function. So mind can be affected in certain ways based on the previous karma. So you make these decisions in a different way. So when cancer comes, people say that's your karma. Never say that. It's a subject that the Buddha said is not something that you can, it's incomprehensible, the subject of karma. So he encouraged us to leave it aside and do wholesome things. All right, so there is karma even when you have become, so someone named even the chief disciple of the Buddha, Moggallana. He was the foremost among those who had psychic abilities. He could do so many things, magical things, but the result of karma was still after him because he previously beaten his parents to death, abandoned them. So when he was in a cave, bandits captured him and tried to torture him, and he escaped 1 or 2 times, maybe 3 times, and the third time he made the relationship, this is coming after me, there's no escape. This is because of the karma that I did in the past. Let me surrender. So he ended his life by absorbing the bandits' beating. And the Buddha had also experienced karma. When he had a back pain, he said that's because this was constant. So the Buddha said there is a past life connection with it. I don't remember off of my head. It's too much details. There's a number of karmas that the Buddha experienced, which I have discussed in a previous discussion, and why he experienced those has something to do with what he did in the past, including having to spend one rains retreat and the sponsor forgetting that he invited the Buddha and 500 or some number of monks. So it is interesting that even someone like the Buddha saying, I too experienced karma. So it's as if reminding us, who are we if the Buddha's experienced karma? I think the Buddha's karma was much less powerful compared to what Moggallana experienced. He was an arahant, so he didn't have any attachment to his life. He just succumbed to his injuries, perhaps. So if you look at the 2 statues on your screen, on either side of the Buddha, there is Sariputta on one side and Moggallana in blue. So he was sort of like dark skinned, bluish, and that's why he's portrayed that way. And perhaps that's also because his body turned bluish by when people beaten him. I don't know, but he came from an elite family like Sariputta, and they were the only children, and they both became monks and became the chief disciples of the Buddha. Sariputta and Sariputta was only second to the Buddha in terms of his wisdom, and Moggallana was only second to the Buddha in terms of his psychic abilities. These are interesting things. So that's that. Any questions? Thank you, Heidi. This was very helpful. Thank you for. And it disappeared. Okay, let me bring it back. This was very helpful. Thank you for being so responsive to our wonderings about the Buddha's teachings. Yeah. And Chandratilaka Nona saying, very nice, Hamdurani, thank you for your Dhamma providing. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So thank you, Heidi, and thank you, Chandratilaka Nona, for this. And Sandeepani Nona saying, Bohumupin. So let me also share some internal turmoil that's happening. I like to name it as turmoil because it happened quite unexpectedly. Bhante Janananda decided to quit his rains retreat, and so it's just myself, Bhante Sarananda, and Bhante Dhammaratana living in the temple, and we are still coming into terms with it and absorbing its effect. When he was here, he was doing a lot of coordinations and answering calls and being available for visiting monks. So it looks like, just considering how I spent today, I spent a half day in the Chase Bank being the driver and the interpreter for one of the visiting monks. So this is taking a psychological toll on me, and responsibilities I'm still absorbing how I feel like in these new transitions, and I trust Bhante Janananda will be back soon so that responsibilities are shared and I don't get burnout. I do already feel burnout. So if you don't hear from me, just do your own meditations. And I may have not taken a break for a long time, during the pandemic. I was continuously showing my face to you and being available. And you have been patient with me, so I'm grateful for your continuous patience. So people keep coming, and sometimes we have to respond long phone calls about what's happening. And I think the board will make a decision on how to make the announcement as we meet as the board next week. So I leave it that for the board and for the senior venerables, but I'm trying to offer all the services that we are supposed to be offering for the devotees during the rains retreat, because you support us. And but I also try to focus on my PhD thesis writing. I haven't responded to my professor. I have given short responses, but I'm not happy with that. I need to focus on that. So at least in the meditation, I felt like I was not happy. I'm honest with my feelings with you. So meditation wasn't, if I'm not happy about it, I feel like the delivery isn't that good. So I'm not sure if you were feeling that way. I was telling Dawn about partially how things are happening, but not fully. So just be patient, and we will figure out. And please keep all the monks, including Bhante Jananand, in your prayers. Um, Thank you, Srinivas. As he says, stay strong, take care. Thank you for all what you do and for the community. Yes, we try to do our best. Even I was paying attention to the smallest functions we do, like sometimes, some days, like on Saturdays. Um, this past Saturday, we had two groups coming. So whole morning, like one group came at 9 in the morning, another at close to 11. They both brought food. So we were here doing the chantings and pujas, and another group, same chantings and pujas. I'm beginning to wonder, is this how I should spend my life? I mean, chanting one time is enough, but with a new group, it's another new chanting the same things. I think I'm coming from a scholar background um, and also a monastic background, so I'm trying to put the two together. Sometimes this is why monks resort to forest dwellings, just living alone, avoiding community, because how politics come to it and how different people show up, and we have to be available instantly for them, and it takes hours to end these conversations. So we learn a lot of things in that. So I remember in Germany, when I was a student in Italy, I was visiting a monastery and being the abbot there. A lot of political expats living in Germany, they would come and bring politics into conversations, and I was no way interested in any politics. So I had to quit immediately living in that kind of an environment because it was not helpful to me. Anyways, thank you for listening and thank you for being there. Um, and even the message about doing this meditation didn't go to many people. I started seeing emails bouncing back. So something to look in there as well. I haven't responded to some emails yet. So there's a lot needing to be done. So Sandeepan was saying, life is a mix of good and bad. We are so fortunate to be Buddhist Eightfold Path. Keep us strong. Hope everything will be all right. Om Ping Guru for being available to us during this time. May all these make Bhanse's path to Nibbana very strong. Thank you. So we can look at Eightfold Path and all that, but it doesn't do wonders all the time. The actual experience is slightly different. I have told you numerous times that little monks think that when you become senior monks, your suffering will be different. But little monks have little monk suffering, senior monks have senior monk sufferings. That's how it gets transformed. Everybody suffers. Um, so always, remember that circumstances are difficult to change. By changing yourself, you can change the effects of circumstances, and that you can do anytime. So changing can be done anytime. And there's a lot that we would not explain. There's a lot that we would like to explain. So in this short time, I will just stop it here and continue on with just thinking and coming into terms of how I experience things. So thank you and happy meditation. Take care. Buddha Sadhana.
Thank you, Bhante. Take care.
You too.